Perfect.
So it's been a long ass summer. I promised y'all that we were going to do a couple of shows that had to do about Pocahontas. We still have the Pocahontas one. I don't think that's ever going to come out, actually. I really don't think that's ever going to come out.
But, they gotta listen to our riff about how Pocahontas was so problematic.
Type in Lindsay Ellis and Pocahontas. There you go. You're done. You don't need us for that. You do not need us for that. And personally, I felt it was very racially charged. Thank you, Trump. Thank you making all white people start feeling themselves and thinking that they own the bitch. So that made me feel that way. But fuck all that. This is supposed to be about Disney and all the great things they've done. And one of the great things.
But not hold on, D, real quick. Not just any Disney. We're talking about a phenomenon, a creative syndication 2-hour animated television programming block from the Walt Disney Television Animation Studios. 28 years ago to this day, launched on September 10th, 1990, the Disney Afternoon.
AKA Disney, AKA Disney to fill air on their fucking Disney Channel.
No, it wasn't the Disney Channel because it did not.
Yeah, it came on regular TV at the time.
They filled it up on the channel that
NBC.
They put it. Yeah, ABC. They put it on ABC.
No, it was NBC. Dead serious.
No, ABC. ABC. No. NBC was Hanna-Barbera.
No. Gummy Bears came on NBC. Then it came on ABC late 80s.
Okay, so who counts Gummy Bears?
Hey, it's a Disney show.
It's a Disney show. I count it.
No. A part of the Disney. I'm talking about the original fucking block. You pull out Gummy Bears, nigga.
No, okay. It was. Dude, come on, dude. I've done my research. Gummy Bears was early. Gummy Bears and DuckTales were the two original shows before it moved over to ABC, and then boom, we got It was basically Gummy Bears and then DuckTales, and then it moved over to ABC and they kept those two, and then they got Chip and Dale's Rescue Rangers.
Right.
Actually,
hey,
D, real quick,
hold on, I got it, Zeris. Yeah, you're right, because a lot of us millennials, we really gush over Gummy Bears, nigga.
I mean, we eat them.
I'm sorry, damn fucking remembered, nigga.
First of all, look, say what you want. I wanted that juice, man. That juice can make a brother jump high. Come on.
Yeah, don't say it like that.
That's what it was. Dude, they always drank that red juice, that red stuff, and it made them jump.
Oh, you mean steroids, sir?
Pretty much.
Purple steroids.
Call it what it was. Call it what it was. Methamphetamine. Just call it what it was.
First of all, if I could take that the magical fruit punch flavor Gatorade that can make me jump like Nate Robinson, I'm all for it.
You know what? I really thought when it comes to gummy bears in general, though, nobody talks about that one unless it's like trivia or some shit. You know what I mean? It's like somebody bringing up the shirt tails to me. You know what I mean? But it's like, oh yeah, that thing. Like it's also like somebody bringing up, even though I think there are more stands for the Snorks than they are for the gummy bears.
I'm just amazed.
I'm about to say, but that one wasn't. But D, that one wasn't Disney though.
I know it wasn't Disney, but I'm talking in the same realm of meh cartoons at that time.
I mean, I might feel that way, but I love the Snorks.
I'm just saying,
I knew kids that will go to bat for the Snorks though.
I'm just saying, I'm amazed that Disney Afternoon lasted damn near almost 10 years.
You know what? It did.
What's there to be amazed? Well, honestly, what's there to be amazed by? Because when their starting lineup was 4 knockout shows,
yeah,
it was meant to last.
Well, I mean, until Fox.
But that's what I'm saying.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
That's what I was saying. Disney Afternoon basically forced Fox and Warner Brothers to move their fucking hand. That's what it did, because and they also had the benefit of not of having their shows on ABC and sometimes CBS, because Timon and Pumbaa came on CBS.
I don't know, D. It was actually the opposite, because Fox Kids basically made Disney like, yo, shit, we gotta fucking expand our lineup because these Fox Kids show is fucking kicking our ass.
So because of, well, I say Fox and WB.
I would say,
because
like, I agree with you on Fox, because during the '90s, during the '90s, especially Saturday morning, Fox pretty much commanded
now,
Saturday
you
morning.
could say Fox and Disney forced Warner Brothers to step their shit up. You could say that.
No, they didn't. That's the reason why I was going to get to that.
All right.
I messed that up for one main reason. What was one of the big heavyweights that Fox had? Tiny Toons.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Who made Tiny Toons?
WB, and WB
Warner
took
Brothers.
that shit.
Who made Batman animated series?
WB
Warner Brothers.
took that shit.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Fox had the luck of having into it. I remember they're big. I for some reason I remember a lot of kids like looking at Bobby's World and then immediately turning to the motherfucking Darkwing Duck or some shit because nobody.
Which is
Actually,
ironic because
wait. Hold up a second. I just remembered something. Fox didn't always have Tiny Toons. Fox didn't have Tiny Toons until it left Nickelodeon, and they made that episode where they said, as you know, we're on the Fox network now.
Mm-hmm.
Are you sure?
Yeah,
I don't remember.
It was an episode.
It started on Nickelodeon for a brief time, and then it moved over to Fox Kids.
And like I said, they did an episode where they acknowledged the fact that they were on Fox, and they made two characters specifically for that episode. They were two literal foxes who played the Fox executives that didn't talk, and all they did was drop anvils on them.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're going to Disney Afternoon, I think we've talked about these shows enough and stuff. I mean, we mentioned the DuckTales. We mentioned
There were seven.
There was Tailspin. We got.
If I can mention.
No. You got it wrong.
If I can mention really quick that, and you were right, CJ, because there was 7 seasons worth of Disney Afternoon. Season 1 started with Gummy Bears, DuckTales, Rescue Rangers, and Tailspin.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't until, and that was from 1990 to 1991. 1991 to 1992 gave us DuckTales, Chippendales, Tailspin, and Darkwing Duck.
Yeah. Well, but I do remember.
In 92, and of course 92 to 93 gave us Goof Troop. 93 to 94 gave us Bonkers. 94 to 95 gave us the Snookums and Meat funny cartoon show and Aladdin. And then we got, what was it, from 95 to 96 we got Gargoyles, Timon and Pumbaa.
Whoa. Snookums and Meat was fucking Disney?
Yeah. So folks folks got to also understand something too. Nickelodeon, Fox, Disney, and a lot of other people, they also rotated cartoons in their lineups and stuff. And the only reason why I remember is because Gargoyles, it used to be a once a week show. And I remember like every Friday, I was like, I need to go home and watch Gargoyles, like every Friday, because that was like the big thing, especially when they had that 5-parter, and it was like, shit, every Friday you had to watch Gargoyles. Then eventually Gargoyles became part of the lineup once they had like a chunk of episodes to show and stuff. But I think
remember.
Eris, I hate to sound like I'm being an asshole, but somebody's gonna mention that shit. Tiny Toons didn't hit Nickelodeon until it was in syndication in 1995. The first, and I remember this though, the first time they showed up was on CBS, and that was the pilot.
Okay, the pilot was on CBS.
Then Fox picked up the rights of it in 92, and then it went on from there a couple years. I'm being honest with you, I really didn't feel like being that asshole.
No, it's fine. It's fine because I'm just going, like, perhaps I went about it backwards because I remember when it was on Nickelodeon and then it was on Fox and they played that episode on Fox.
Yeah, it's weird, but you gotta remember they had
syndication can be confusing. I'm just gonna sum it up like that.
I was gonna say, much like the Disney Afternoon, it was like that too. I remember seeing the same Rescue Rangers episode 6 times for no apparent reason. And I went to it was always the same goddamn episode, man.
I mean, what was crazy about so the lineup. So basically, over the years, like you said,
Let's go down.
Yeah, I'm going down the line. You got Adventures of Gummy Bears. You got Chip and Dale's Rescue Rangers. You got DuckTales, Tailspin, Darkwing Duck, Goof Troop, like Sue said, Schnookums and Meat, Bonkers, which is a weird show in and of itself.
I love
Aladdin,
that show.
Gargoyles, Timon and Pumbaa, Quack Pack, and the Mighty Ducks.
Now, can I mention something? Hold on. Can I mention something about Quack Pack? I thought Quack Pack was an interesting show. I did not realize that show only lasted one season with 39 episodes.
Yeah, that was short-lived like shit.
That was extremely short-lived. It's like they tried to give us these preteen versions of Huey, Dewey, and Louie, and it just didn't work.
Because they saw the fact that, like, Goof Troop was like, oh shit, they got movies. Let's do the same thing for Huey, Dewey, and Louie. And I'm like, this is not going to work, guys. What are you doing?
I think what it was, I think a lot of the Disney execs really thought that kids connected to Huey, Dewey, and Louie. And I can say yes and no, but at the same time, I don't think that's what drew us to DuckTales at all. But yeah, he gave it a chance and all that. I remember actually watching that show a few times, but I was like, nah, I don't care for it.
I was heavy into it because, like, anytime they had anytime they had a cartoon about characters that just travel the world doing stuff, I always watched it.
I mean,
so when DuckTales did it, I always enjoy watching DuckTales. And then when Quack Pack turned around and did it, where they were traveling the world with Daisy, who was a reporter.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm where's
right there? That's low hanging fruit. That is fucking low hanging fruit. I hate how they just whipped that up. You knew they whipped that up. And if I'm mistaken, I don't know his name. I don't know none of their names to their color code. But wasn't the red one the leader?
Yeah, Huey.
Huey.
Yeah, they try to make him like the Alvin of the
Thank you.
Which is exactly what they went with. They gave us. You know what's funny? This show gave us the quote-unquote preteen versions of Alvin and the Chipmunks that were made into those CGI films.
Meanwhile, I'm sitting back like, so you guys just forgot about Webby, huh? Gotcha.
Yep.
Hey, Harris, easy. That the CGI on Alvin Chipmunks and the cartoon, they're two different universes, bro.
No. First of all, I'm not talking about the ones that's out now. I'm talking about the ones that came out back in the early 2000s.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm talking about those are two different universes, bro. Stop crossing them.
I mean,
I know it's two different universes, but you can't help but think that, you know, they kind of do collide together a little bit.
They kind of do. You know what Quack Pack reminded me of? It reminded me of how, at least how everybody took Quack Pack. They took Quack Pack the same way people took that Duck Dodgers cartoon, where you had this group of people that loved it and everybody that did this. Oh, turn the channel.
You know another show that was like that? Mighty Ducks. You know, Disney has
It's a weird concept.
See, here's the thing about here's what's weird about this, right? You're talking about a time period. I think this came out in 95, I believe, right? They like when they announced
96 and 97.
Okay, yeah, 96. So it was weird about that was this was them trying to cross promote this with the Mighty Ducks films, which were like pretty much out during that time period, and the Anaheim Ducks, and they were really trying to sell people on like this action show about ducks. You know, and they had all these rides at Disney World apparently surrounding it, and it only got 26 episodes, and I'm like, huh.
Think about it. You got to realize is this, Chris, and it's still really prevalent in Disney today. They have a real hard-on of selling the ducks in their whole production, man. For years, they have always really wanted to push like Darkwing Duck to just build the city of ducks, and the fact that they got Howard the Duck a part of the Marvel deal makes me really think that they're going to do more with that. Like, for whatever reason, Disney loved ducks. They loved ducks.
I mean,
it wasn't even. Well, actually, to tell you the truth, it wasn't even just Disney. The '90s in general just gave us an ocean of duck, of duck-related shows.
Actually, if you want to know the truth, I think it's because of a combination of the Disney loving ducks and Tiny Toons and all that being out is the real large indicating reason why we got furries today.
I mean, but you know what was crazy too about that show is that like I remember when they announced the show, they announced the voice cast and stuff. You know, me and Sue at San Diego, we interviewed Ian Ziering. You know, he voiced the main character who wore like a special duck mask. You know, that had all these gadgets inside of it and stuff. But fucking Brad Garrett voicing the fucking big dude, and he was like the standout voice out of that whole damn cast.
That doesn't surprise me.
And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, and also voicing the manager of the Ducks, James Belushi. I'm like, what the fuck's he doing voicing cartoons?
And see, that's the thing. But that's the thing that gets me about that whole cartoon. It was trying to go against all the action cartoons that were out at the time. Mm-hmm. And one of the biggest action cartoons at the time was X-Men.
Yep.
And I think in the mid-90s, a lot of us, we were really into teams of superheroes. You know what I mean?
Biker Mice like Mars, this.
Captain Bucky O'Hare.
Mm-hmm. Captain Bucky O'Hare. We were really trying, like a lot of kids were into the team aspect. Fucking, look, even when you get down to the comic books, Justice League had a good run at that time.
Well, Bucky O'Hare, to his credit, was also a comic too, so, you know.
But look, fucking X-Force, nigga. Fucking Ninja.
Street Sharks.
Street Sharks. Hold on. If we want to talk about knockoffs of the X-Men, fucking Wild, what was it?
SWAT Cats.
No. Wildcats. No. CCD. Wildcats is respectable. That's fucking Jim Lee. Put some respect on his name. No. Put some respect on his name. I'll tell you the one that doesn't get respect, and rightfully so. Fucking Ultra Force. Fuck that goddamn show.
You know another one? Hold on. Wait, D. I'm sorry, CJ. I got one. I see that show and I raise you a Battletoads.
Woo!
But Battletoads is good, Sue.
No, that cartoon.
Oh, I thought you meant the game. Sorry, my bad.
No, not the game. I'm talking about the cartoon. Have you actually watched an episode of the cartoon?
I'll take your Battletoads and I raise you Double Dragon.
I don't think that falls into the team aspect.
Yes, it does. Oh, D. You don't remember Double Dragon when it went from Jimmy and Billy to the second season where they had a fucking full-fledged goddamn team.
Stop that. Stop where you are, Harris. I know you're about to say something. Here's D. They had a second season?
Yes, it did. See, the second season, real quick, before we go back to Disney Afternoon, tidbit here. Double Dragon went from the first season where it was like, okay, Billy and Jimmy, they're dealing with some magic stuff, but they're still doing the same brawling thing. All right, fine. Second season, magic swords that transform them into dragons. And I'm like, what the fuck just happened? Wasn't it about them beating up people? What happened?
Somewhere in the middle of all this, somewhere in the middle of all that, I was thinking to myself, I turned away from Hulk Hogan's cartoon for this.
Oh, yeah, and they have the token black dude that somehow he gets the magic and he fights people. I'm like, okay, and we have token chick, and okay, this show got off rails. What the fuck?
Let's not also forget the Street Fighter cartoon on USA was built the same way.
That show was
God. That show was...
I hate you. First off, I hate you, Chris.
That show was ungodly ridiculous because you want to talk about. Hold on, wait. Hold on. First of all, you want to talk about a show that was the embodiment of teamwork.
You want to know another one that was
Mortal Kombat Defenders of the Realm.
Kombat is on the level of fucking Mighty Ducks of who's watching this.
You know the ironic. Hold on, you want to know what's really ironic? All those shows came out around the same time as the Mighty Ducks.
You know who watched Mortal Kombat? Defenders of the Realm D? Suckers like me who was just waiting for Savage Dragon to start, so we had to fucking watch that shit.
Same thing with me, because I was also in that line of people who got stuck between watching that, the Problem Child cartoon, Ninja Turtles for some reason, and.
But I'm just cartoon. Fuck you for even bringing that up.
But here's the thing. You want to talk? So we talking about these team shows right now. Like out of all the Disney Afternoon shows, right? I'm a huge Tailspin fan because I still to this day, and I've said it multiple times on different episodes and stuff. It is amazing that they flipped that fucking Jungle Book franchise. It was like, what happens if they talk and they walk and they have clothes on? Tailspin, put them in a show.
Tailspin was what we got. No, better yet, like just to piggyback off of what you just said. Oh yeah, make and have Mowgli not exist.
Basically.
Also, I like the fact that basically Becky was nothing more than a gummy bear that strolled into the...
They pilot swapped one of the characters.
They pilot swapped one of the characters.
That's all. Look, let's be real. Hey, Chris, let's be real. Disney does that a lot.
No. I respect
the
the hustle. I respect
can also point out that Baloo's sidekick had probably the most hilarious name ever, Kit McCloud Kicker.
Yo, I thought that was the most laziest, but yet, of course,
oddly cool name.
Oddly cool, but at the same time, what 59-year-old artist made that name?
First off, we also got to put some respect on Don Canarge.
And if we really
Don Canarge, he's the biggest villain of that cartoon. But how does he get washed by Shere Khan, who doesn't even move half the damn cartoon?
First of all, hold on, wait, CJ, CJ, god dang it, I already said it.
Hold on. Eris really wanted it. Eris, go ahead and say it. I'll edit it. Go ahead and say it.
Like I said, Don Canarge was one of the biggest villains of the show. Very true. But come on. He is nothing compared to the god that is Shere Khan, a.k.a. Geese Howard. The man, first of all, Shere Khan had a tower. He had a tower. He wore a business suit.
And two rhino bodyguards.
He had his own Hopper and Ripper. I'm done with the show.
No, you know what made him even better? My boy, Tony J did his voice. And Tony J is always, every time you want a villain, he has it. The second you hear that megabyte voice of his, you're like, oh yes. That's why I only liked half of Hunchback of Notre Dame, because, Frollo wasn't doing shit in it until he showed up.
Hold up. Does that make Don Canarge Billy Kane, Eris?
Absolutely.
Okay, cool.
Ooh.
Don Canarge was definitely the Billy Kane of that story.
I guess if you want to say he was Billy Kane, but he came off more like, who was that? The Capoeira nigga. They only did something.
Bob, was it Bob Richards or Richard whatever?
You mean Richard Meyer or Bob Wilson?
Yeah, one of them.
He was more like a Richard Meyer character to me. Like, yeah, he's a nuisance. You can beat him.
I'm just laughing at the fact that Louis ends up being what I knew he was going to be, owner of a fucking bar. And I'm like, well, of course his ass is going to be owner of a damn bar. Why wouldn't he be owner of a bar?
Louis the owner of the bar. My man knew all the celebrities that came to town.
Hey God.
He had, first of all, hold on, and on the the underbelly side of Saint Canard, my man had all the coke connections.
Man, look. Any guy wearing a Hawaiian shirt, he owns a Coke Connect. That's all I'm saying.
Hey, real talk. Hey, Eris, you know that motherfucker had to hook up for, certain men to get children. I'll leave it at that.
Are you saying that he was involved in trafficking?
Oh, yeah!
I mean, look, this dude clearly hires Baloo for a lot of these missions.
No, but Louis was a plug anyway.
He was the plug.
So you mean to tell me that, hey, one dude came up to Louis, like, hey, Louis, I heard, hey, Louis, how you doing? Like, yeah, how you doing? They play at 6 o'clock. What? They play at 6 o'clock. You motherfucker, get out of here. Come in the back at 6:30. Get out of here. Get out of here now. All of a sudden, 6:30 rolls through. All right, man, which one you want? What do you mean, which one I want? Look in the book. It's like a big-ass book. It's full of kids. Yes, it's fucked up. It is dark. It is dark. Louis needs to get arrested years.
I mean, I ain't gonna lie, though. Like, we talk about reusing assets in Tailspin. Obviously we talked about Jungle Book. they kind of sort of reuse assets from the Robin Hood movie too.
I think it's just that format.
Of course they did.
Animation.
They
This is
reused
style
assets.
animation.
Yeah,
Okay, all
no,
right.
CJ, you're not lying. The assets they used from from Robin Hood was used for Jungle Book.
Yeah, I mean, it was just because I noticed some of like the other like side characters. Like one of the characters was like I want to say a giant like rat kind of character and stuff. And I'm like, isn't that the one that Robin Hood fought? And he was like helping out the sheriff of Nottingham. And I was like, huh, that's
Their
interesting.
their mechanic reminded me of the King for some reason off of Robin Hood. That mechanic, you know,
I don't know. The mechanic looked like Shere Khan's lesser cousin or something like that.
yeah, you know, Pete.
It's like Shere Khan's my cousin. He hooked me up with the meth connect.
Oh man, Shere Khan though, Shere Khan, he said one line that was great, and it sounds so good coming out of Tony J. But he said, "I require two things: money and power, and employees that don't move are no asset to either." I was like, this nigga's a hustler. This nigga needs songs written about him.
I will say, I'll tell you what though, with the way
He was always suited and booted, always pissed off. He was pissed off. Why, D? He wasn't making enough money.
I'll tell you what, with the way the new DuckTales cartoon is introducing like everything, hell, they just recently introduced Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers. I was sitting back like, so when you going to introduce Tailspin? I'm waiting.
That's a good question. DuckTales is weird to me. The new DuckTales is weird to me because I feel like it's doing everything right, and at the same time, it's like, y'all lucky that Gravity Falls came out so y'all can kind of copy them. But, you know, D's a hater, so I'm not going to say shit.
I mean, look, I don't get the Gravity Falls hype, so I can't really get mad at
You
it.
never
Honestly.
watched Gravity Falls. You never did?
I see
Nah,
people. I remember when you told me about cause I kept saying, "What the fuck is those goddamn hats?" And he was like, "Oh, Gravity Falls." I was like, "Okay, you know."
You never, it's okay. It's okay. Gravity Falls is really good. It's really good.
No,
Now,
it was.
like between Adventure Time and Gravity Falls, I'm an Adventure Time person. But Gravity Falls, really good. A lot of dark, really good storytelling, man. And then the show realizes that, hey, everybody's watching it and it ain't funny enough. So let's make it funny. And then they had to hurry up and end the show. But still, that's different.
Yeah. But you know what was crazy?
That's part of the legacy. That's a part of the legacy of Disney. So,
Yeah,
hey,
but I will say this though. You know, we got Tailspin. Chip and Dale's Rescue Ranger. It did remind me of what Disney was trying to. Well, what Disney was doing with the Rescuers and stuff. Except they got Chip and Dale, and they got a cast of other people basically helping and doing all those things. I actually kind of like that show a little bit.
First of all, with Chip and Dale, like one of the things I love about Chip and Dale's Rescue Rangers was how they portrayed both Chip and Dale. Chip was clearly Indiana Jones, and Dale was Dale was was our boy from Magnum PI.
yeah.
Minus the mustache, but you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only thing they didn't really do was give them the personalities of them, and because Chip and Dale was still Chip was the smart one, the leader, of course, and Dale was dumb, but Dale got all the pussy though, so I don't even know.
I just what was funny to me
That
is
Hawaiian shirt was all he needed.
Hawaiian shirt, the Hawaiian shirt, that Gap nigga. Woo!
Wait, hold up. The Hawaiian shirt, the Gap, and the hamburger meat hanging out the Hawaiian shirt.
I'm just saying, man.
I will say
And
this.
Dale was a scumbag enough to when he gets into the club because he took a bump of coke. He got the glasses on. He's in the club. He's like doing this to himself. He's just saying this to himself. Chris is gonna love this. How's it going? Buy you a drink. Chip and Dale's Rescue Rangers. How you doing? Buy you a drink. Buy you a drink. Chip like, hey nigga, you can't be spending all the money up in the club. Man, fuck you, nigga. We just saved a little girl and her dog, son. What? We got bacon this bitch.
Like, eat a sack of baby dicks.
Look, Tupac coming to the club. Oh shit, y'all, Tupac in the club, y'all.
Tupac
Like he
back.
just like first of all, Tupac shows up in the club, right? He just got off a same song. That's how early we're talking.
I mean, but you know what's crazy is the fact that Chip and Dale, like, if you were following Disney all the way up to the point of the show, was that Chip and Dale always popped up in like a lot of like the Mickey Mouse like cartoons and stuff before they actually became full-fledged characters.
Pluto had like a cartoon with him or something like shit like that. I don't forget.
at least a number of shorts.
Yeah, they had a bunch of shorts when I was a kid. Here's the funny thing. I didn't find them funny at all as a kid. Not Rescue Rangers. I'm talking about just the old skits from the 1950s.
I'm
Again,
Chip, I'm Dale. Yeah.
but that's subjective though, because we already talked about how when it comes to kind of humor with Disney, with their older cartoons, it's a real big hit and miss thing. Like you could find people, like you could find charm in an old Mickey cartoon, but at the same time, it's like, was it funny or nothing? It was cute. I mean, it was cute when he fell. But like nothing funny happened. No, all right then, get out of my face.
But I mean,
like D, why you say it like that? Daffy Duck got his face shot off, and his beak was on the back of his head. The nigga grabbed the lid, turned it to the front, and said, "Let's try that again." How do you not laugh at shit that hilarious? I do. Like it's like right now we're having a little argument on the Three Black Geeks fan page, and it's like a whole bunch of cartoons. I said you got to pick one. One has to go, and I said if anybody else pick anything that isn't Doug, y'all don't have no sense of humor to me. I fucking mean that shit. I hate Doug. I don't know why people love it. I have zero idea why
people like OG Doug, but not Disney Doug. It's kind of weird.
Even OG Doug was not funny to me. I get it. Mr. Dink was cool. I get it. Skeeter was funny. The show wasn't that good. I don't know, but that's just...
No. D, you got that wrong. First of all, Skeeter wasn't just funny. Skeeter, let's be real. Skeeter was the black friend.
Yeah, I know he was. But here's another... Look, if he was the black friend, let's just admit the truth about Mr. Dink. There were so many kids that kept quiet of the shit he actually did.
First off, you will not sit there and you will sit there and not make light of. You will not make light of purple Robert Williams. All right.
I refuse.
He did. And guess what?
I'm not gonna have you sit up here and besmirch the good name of Mr. Dink, of Bud Dink.
I will, because you know what he did. Look, I will, because you know what he did when he was in court. I got the best lawyers, Doug. Very expensive.
First off, he didn't call him Doug. Douglas, my boy.
He always called him Douglas.
Right, like I get it. I get why y'all like that. Shit was not funny, dog. I don't know, but whatever. Here's one thing: when Disney got a hold of that show, it was shit.
They won it. Yo, talk about a 180. Holy shit, that was a 180.
I already thought that show was not funny. It got way worse.
Whose idea was it to make Roger rich? Like that was the fucking problem solver. Like make him rich. I'm like, why? Like,
oh man, let's make BB. And let's make not BB, Connie. Let's make her all nice and shit. Let's make her lose weight.
Yeah.
Because
Connie went from being thick to being skinny as a rail.
Now real talk. Miss Dink had that CCH pound of pussy. I can see you, baby. I see you, baby. She was mayor.
Yeah, she ended up becoming mayor. That's funny.
I mean,
it was, and I say again, guys, it was really sad when she had to resign because of her husband. There was a lot of kids that was involved in that shit, man. He was a monster, bro. That was amazing.
Speaking of which, did I mention the fact that Robot Chicken kind of...
I love that Chris jukes around Chum.
Robot Chicken ruined Rescue Rangers with that one goddamn skit. I'm just gonna leave it at that. That skit was... I was sitting there like... That is something that all three of us might have just talked in brief about, but the fact that Robot Chicken went there with it, I was like, yeah, that was...
Because Chris, there's something that we do need to address about Rescue Rangers. Our boy Monterey Jack, he had a problem.
So Cheese was his Coke, basically.
Cheese was most definitely his Coke.
He had a real bad problem with that.
This dude goes Super Cena mode when he smells cheese. Like, he'll fuck you up. and then eat some cheese.
It's like nothing affects him. Like the man becomes the Terminator when there's
Like
cheese.
I remember an episode they were tied up. The dude smelled cheese and broke out the ropes. I was like, well, that was easy.
He's like, I'm just gonna slide out of these ropes.
Cheese. I'm like, wow, he fucking people up. All right, cool.
Hey man, that's the Australian strength right there, man. That Aussie strength, dog.
Hey, shout outs to Peter Cullen and Jim Cummings voicing Monty. That was a great voice. Because like I said, Disney is pretty good at like, hey, we got to put a spin on it and stuff, so make him Australian. I'm like, all right, cool.
Like he wasn't like.
And then we had. Oh, well, no, I'm sorry. I'll get to this character. Go ahead, D.
No, I was gonna like we let's stop dodging around the one thing. Any of y'all dudes that was sexually attracted to Gadget, stop.
I was just about to mention.
I don't see how anybody gets sexually attracted to any animal.
No, what I was going to mention. What I was going to mention about Gadget, by the way, was we had the show's mechanic. She was like the A1 number one mechanic.
It's because of Gadget. I'm glad that we end up getting Winry, but for Winry we realized, oh, she's 14. God damn, anime.
Actually, hold on, and not just her, and not just her. You do know that right after Gadget, we were introduced to another animal character that was just ridiculously smart when it comes to tech, and that was Princess Sally from Sonic.
The one weird thing
which I always thought was funny because the way they portrayed Sally early on in the show, she was always the only thing that girl wore was a pair of boots. It wasn't until the last season that they gave her a vest.
I mean,
yeah, can't be flashing all that fur everywhere.
I mean, that was the crazy thing about like cartoons and stuff, especially this one. It's like, so let me get this right. Chip Dale, Monterey, no pants, but Gadget eats pants. Okay, I guess.
No,
apparently. No, hold on. No, see, apparently apparently the censors are okay if a character is wearing one article of clothing.
But
I guess.
Fur pussy, 2 crossing lines right there.
That's crossing the line right there. Now you say how could somebody make that sexy? Easy, draw it sexy.
Yep, that's all you need. You know how
you are done.
Hold on, you know how you do that? Draw Lola Bunny.
Here's the thing, Chris. Like, I understand what you mean by that, but then there's Lola walking in with like, hey, go ahead, go the fuck ahead.
Hey,
go
I ain't gonna...
Look, go the fuck ahead. Go the fuck ahead. Hey, yo, Harris, would you? Yeah, I would too, my nigga. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, but that's the thing. It was like, and I think you can actually tie it in with Tales. All these shows, and maybe this is just me just observing and stuff. I felt all these shows were trying to have their version of a Jessica Rabbit type character. Because I remember Tailspin. Tailspin had like Baloo had some chick that he messed around with in the past that popped up at the shipping yard and stuff, and the chick that he worked under, she was jealous, and I'm like, but you don't like Baloo, so how are you jealous? This is weird.
It's one of the things a lot of feminists really brought up when it comes to like the older stuff, where the girl character was only there for 2 reasons: either there to be really, really smart, or tell the lead character that he's smart, strong, sexy, or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Usually they're a nagger. Usually they are always the voice of reason that the main star ignores, and then all of a sudden when they do something brave and heroic, it's like, oh, I'm in love with him, but I can't be in love with him for whatever stupid ass reason. It's a weird trope.
Hold on, D. At least not until the final season.
And not until the final season. It's a weird trope. We talked really briefly when we talk about Ghostbusters, how they did that with Janine in the cartoon, where she went from this very good, smart,
sassy
character that added to the story. Then all of a sudden, she turns girly, like super girly.
Yeah.
Like
not only did she turn unnecessarily girly, but then they also redesigned her.
Yeah. She didn't look so mean. She was pretty.
And then
it was really.
And then like
think about it. It's like, oh, why would you smile? It's that version of it.
And
you
then,
know what I mean?
Extreme Ghostbusters, it's like it felt that show walked it back a little bit, where she was back to being the sassy person, but then she's also like, but I love Egon, and it's like, So y'all trying to have it both ways, huh? All right, cool. I guess
What it felt like. It really felt like that show wanted to give it. But look, they did that with all the cartoons where they had to give you a female character that was like it was always the ones that stood out are the ones that we still remember. I can say for the most part, Gadget didn't have that problem in Rescue Rangers.
Yeah,
I
they
don't think she had that
never
problem.
really put.
Well, they never had to deal with that issue with Gadget because again, number one, she was the show's mechanic, and number two, she dressed like a mechanic.
Yeah, she kept to her gun. She wasn't nothing more or nothing that had to be there to facilitate another character there. She was actually she was her own person. I mean, I could appreciate that. Yeah, she could have had a bigger part in the show. She had a big enough part in the show. There were some episodes that were dedicated to her. So there was no way, I do hate that type of trope that happens where the only reason why the girl is there is to make the main star feel like his penis is big. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In that case, that's when you get Riff Raff's girlfriend Cleo from Heathcliff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That was a trope.
That was a show right there.
Make her super attractive and one note.
Yeah.
I mean,
And then see that's what really kind of, and I think that's why the reason why a lot of black girls really are still like super Storm fans. I think the only thing they all will agree when it comes to Storm from the cartoon was like, bitch, why are you always falling out? Like that's the only thing they don't like. How Storm, who is super strong, would do something amazing. Oh, I have no energy. Like Wolverine.
I like to point
Storm, and the thing is, Storm wasn't the only one. Jean was also just as bad. Anytime she used more than 5% of her telekinetic powers, she just passes out.
And that's what made at least Storm was a little bit different. She'll have that moment, but then she'll pop back up like, you shall not pass. And all of a sudden, winds of Gaia. It's like everybody's like dead and shit. Because like she was like, that's the reason why she was functional. She did shit. Yeah. She wasn't that same note. And the reason why a lot of black chicks hate Jean was because of that, Chris. I heard that. Scott! Oh!
Yeah. Hey, side note, shout out to Eris for mentioning Heathcliff. I like the fact that when they introduced the Cadillac Cats, Heathcliff was non-existent. It's like, it's the Cadillac. It's funny as shit. The Cadillac Cats literally hijacked that show. I was like, man, I want to see these fucking dudes. Fuck Heathcliff.
As much as I love the Cadillac Cats way more than Heathcliff, they were some lame ass niggas.
No, they really were. But it was like, they were fucking more interested in goddamn Heathcliff. I was like, I want to see more of these guys.
Heathcliff. Wait, you know what, Eris? Here's a token, man. Go ahead and play a game, man. I tried the third skee ball table over there, man. That shit's giving out a lot of tickets. I already got my kazoo. Match me and Chris, man. He got a blue.
That's the funny part about the fucking Cadillac Cats. They had like a whole host of different people. It's like, hey, you need a gay cat? Well, here's your gay cat. You want a big fat cat? Here's your fat cat. You want your cool suave guy? Here's your cool suave guy. It's like, everything.
Like, hey, you want that one cat the suave cat, the one with the stereo? I always took him as the black one, but that nigga never acted black enough for me.
He really didn't. It's like, is that...
Oh, another one, Chris, to bring up when it comes to that same trope of woman. Mm-hmm. Homegirl in Transformers. God. RC.
Yeah, I was gonna say RC.
RC went from like the first couple episodes, she had a purpose, and then all of a sudden the writers was like, I don't know, have her follow the kid.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden IDW was like, yeah, we can do better. So let's just fuck that cartoon shit. We're just gonna give her some agency and keep it moving.
Yeah, they gave her agency at least, man. I think, it's kind of funny. I thought Scorpina was like that. Not Scorpina. Scorpina.
Black Arachnia.
Black Arachnia. Why I say Scorpina? I'm thinking of Power Rangers. Sorry, look. Black Arachnia I thought she was the same way, and then the writers even admittedly like, yeah, we kind of forgot where we were going with her.
If I could speak on one thing, is going back to Gadget, well, jumping off of Gadget and segueing into it, Gadget, she was great character, but rolling into, God, what is it? What was the name of that freaking city that he lived in? I wanted to talk about my favorite Swiss Army knife on a unicycle, Gizmo Duck.
Gizmo Duck.
Gizmo Duck and his Gizmo Duck and his transportation, his transference from from Duckburg to Darkwing Duck.
Dude, you want to talk about ambitious crossover? And even they're doing it in the new DuckTales and stuff. I thought it was amazing how that character just went from, like you said, DuckTales, boom, he's in Darkwing Duck, and I remember getting hype at the crossover, like, oh my god, he was in DuckTales, it's a crossover, yes, and just
actually, I can tell you something. I gotta tell you something about that, CJ. You want to know where that crossover idea came from to begin with?
Who?
So, do you guys remember Disney Adventure books?
Yep.
Yeah, collected those at every checkout at the grocery store.
Yeah, I did too. So in one particular episode, one particular issue, they had a small comic portion dedicated to Darkwing Duck, and in that issue, Gizmo Duck shows up as like a guest appearance. Mm-hmm. They took that comic book, they took that one comic, and slapped it on an episode, and boom, now Duckburg and St. Canard are one place.
Oh yeah, also
They exist in the same universe.
Disney Adventure cartoons were basically a tie-in to Disney Afternoon as well. So that was Disney's other lucrative thing to get kids to do their thing, because I remember Nickelodeon had a magazine, but Disney Adventures was like the magazine to buy easily.
I was just about to say that too. Like Nickelodeon magazines, I actually had an issue. I had an issue of Nickelodeon magazine, but I had way more issues of Disney Adventures because
I had stacks upon stacks of Disney Adventure magazines.
Because let's just be real. Let's just really be real here. Every time I watched an episode of anytime I collected an episode of Disney Adventures, you would always catch that one character that he eventually did get his own cartoon, and that was Marsupilami.
Oh, I'll tell you another one that was in Disney Adventures.
Oh my god, I remember that damn cartoon.
We'll get to Marsupilami in a minute, but there was another comic in Disney Adventure magazine that I was an instant fan of, and I kept reading after I stopped. Bone.
I remember Bone.
Bone was...
Bone, the artist for Bone got lucky and was a part of that for a long time. Bone became a thing for a while, man.
I got absorbed into that comic because of Disney Adventures magazine. I was like, man, I got to read more of this. And then when I stopped, I was like, that's when I started going to comic book stores, and I was like, oh, they actually have a full-fledged trade paperback. I guess I need to read all this now.
Yeah, Bone had the luck of being featured in the Disney Adventures magazine, man. It really did, man.
But Marsupilami was one of those shows that I didn't care for.
As a person who watched a lot of the episodes, it just happened.
I didn't hate it, but it was just like, that's the thing. Okay, it happened. And it was weird too because you had that. Okay, so do we count some of the Disney Saturday mornings as part of Disney Afternoon stuff too?
No, they don't count. Okay, first of all, they don't count.
All right, cool.
They don't count because when I looked at the list, again, Disney Afternoon was 7 seasons over the span of what was it, from 1990 all the way to 1997. Yeah, nearly 10 years. And they never counted none of the weekend shows.
Okay, I just wanted to be sure.
If it's a show,
just wanted to be sure.
Now, if it was a show that came from Disney Afternoon during the afternoon block and it was on the weekends, then there's that. Okay. But if it started out as a weekend show and then eventually came to the Disney Afternoon, no, not really.
Okay, cool. I just want to be sure because I didn't want to just say names and then we end up dovetailing. So thanks, appreciate that. Appreciate that.
You know what? The one thing I'm pretty sure a lot of people want us to mention, and let's just go into it. Goof Troop was everybody's shit. For what I would say, for 60% of the reason was because of the theme song, and 40% of the reason was because of the characters. And 60% of the reason was because of the theme song, and 40% of the reason was because of the characters. And 40% of the reason was because of the theme song, and 40% of the reason was because of the characters. And 40% of the reason was because of the theme song, and 40% of the reason was because of the characters. And 40% of the reason was because of the theme song, and 40% of the reason was because of the characters. And 40% of the reason was because of the theme song, and 40% of the reason was because of the characters. And 40% of the reason was because of the theme song, and 40% of the reason was because of the characters. And 40% of the reason was because of the theme song, and 40% of the reason was because of the characters. And 40% of the reason was because of the theme song, and 40% of the reason was because of the characters. And 40% of the reason was because of the theme song, and 40% of the reason was because of the characters. And 40% of the reason was because of the theme song, and 40% of the the rust was for the cartoon. But you know what? I feel that way about all the cartoons on Disney Afternoon when you think about it, because all of them had really good theme songs. Despite me not really liking DuckTales and Rescue Rangers, they're pretty damn good.
Hey.
Tailspin is pretty damn good.
Hey,
like,
no, let's really be real here. The main reason why everybody absolutely loved Goof Troop was for one particular character, and that was Peg.
Nah, I didn't like Peg. As a kid, I didn't like.
Oh, I did, because I always loved the mystery. No, I always loved the mystery that surrounded her, because she was always super friendly around Goofy.
I mean,
no, that's just how it is. That's how.
No, because I always loved the fan theories that came from it. The fan theories was that them two messed around in college or something, or high school.
I mean, but let's be real too.
I just like the idea of people saying, "Hey, yo, Goofy smash, bro."
I mean, look, he has a son. He has a son named Max. So let's just be real. He is like the only legit character that has actually had a family.
I mean, we don't talk enough. Goofy being single father and up. Meanwhile, Pete got a full ass damn family and stuff. And I'm like, yo, I want to see more Pete in that family.
Real? Let's just be real, Eris. I remember me and Eris came up with a theory, and it makes perfect sense. Peggy and Pete got divorced, and Peggy got a lot of that.
He did.
I don't know, man.
Hey,
like,
so I don't know. You know why? Pete got greedy. He banged his coworker.
Well, yeah, it was just him and Max in the Goofy movie. So you right.
Hey man, Peggy took all the. Pete making good money. He's still making the good bread, but Peggy took all of that.
Peggy didn't take shit off Pete in the show to her credit.
Oh yeah.
Exactly.
No, because she goes from. I like how she goes from sweet. I like how she goes from like sweet and innocent to all of a sudden that bass comes out of her voice when it comes to addressing Pete.
Yo, it's so funny. Niggas that see Peggy say, "Oh man, I like her," but at the same time, half those niggas like, "Ugh, man, Chi-Chi a bitch." Like, wait.
It's like you got Pete Jr., you got Peg, and then you got Pistol Pete, who he adores so much. And like you said, Peg took everything. As soon as he lost Pistol Pete, he started beating on Pete Jr. Damn shame.
He started beating on PJ.
Hey, you know what, Chris? Thank you. You finally crossed the dark side of D's dark universe of Disney.
Hey, that conversation.
The real sad part about all of this is PJ's the type of dad that would actually make fun of PJ for being fat.
Dog. You saw that conversation Pete had with fucking Goofy in that hot tub in the Goofy movie, dog. Yo, Pete.
First of all, he had nerve to show up. First of all, he had nerve to show up wearing them purple Speedos.
Dog. Pete beats PJ. That talk they had with Goofy tells it all right there. I'm like, yo, dog, like PJ, you abused, dog? Blink twice if you're abused.
AKA keep him under your thumb, Goof.
When you say keep him on your thumb, that was not as a father, that is an indication of you better put hands on that little nigga.
He's like, put hands on him.
Before he put hands on you. You a bitch? Oh, no, I ain't a bitch. I know you ain't a bitch, Goof. Like, go over there and tell Max, hey, nigga, we going fishing. Alright? Because you know he up to some bullshit, nigga. Alright? PJ! Fuck my dick!
I mean, because it's like dog, but you know what, though?
Yes, why did I get Minister Society flashbacks? K!
Dog, but the kicker about all this that makes it so hilarious is that it's like Pete's family in Goofy movie in Goof Troop. It's like I said, Peg didn't take any shit from him and stuff, but it was like the usual kind of like the family. Pete's out there grilling because that's what he does, whatever and stuff. And there's always some shenanigans, and I'm like, it seems like a normal family, and stuff. And it's just like, how did it end? Don't know.
Easy, man. Max went to college. Actually, he has a nice job. He still lives out in California. Goofy's still doing all right. Pete hired Goofy to be a part of his little some weird catering business. I don't know. You don't even know about that shit. PJ is now currently homosexual, living in New York City.
Living his best life.
He's currently living it. He's currently, yeah. PJ, all right, let me say that again. PJ is currently living in New York City as a homosexual, and he does not talk to Pete. Pete's little sister, you don't want to talk about her whole ass. And Peggy's doing all right. Peggy's doing real all right. Good for her, man.
Oh,
she don't even, look like her. She done remarried to this African doctor.
Oh my god! But like that show.
Goofy got married too, man. It's a good thing that happened to everybody out of Goof Troop. That's it, outside of Pete. That nigga's still playing motherfucking alimony, and I agree he don't need to be at this point, but he still is.
I tell you what though, that Aladdin theme, TV show theme still slaps.
It does.
Yeah.
One good thing about the Aladdin cartoon was they did get the voice of Aladdin come back, and they got Gilbert Godfrey come back, and of course Frank Welker has never said no to a cartoon ever in his life. Prove me wrong.
He's voiced in every cartoon that we're talking about for Disney Afternoon. He voiced 2 goddamn dogs in Goof Troop.
Yeah, he did.
Hey, you know what? I like the fact that he plays just 2 voices in every show because Disney doesn't want to pay him extra when you get to the 3rd voice.
Basically, it's like shit.
Who was it? Tom Kenny, the voice of SpongeBob, said that. He said the reason why they do certain things like that is because usually by your agency standard, you're only supposed to get paid for doing 2 to 3 voices. Anything after that 2 to 3 voices, they have to pay you on scale. So not a lot of cartoons are willing to let you do that, especially if you're like a Maurice LaMarche, like we said, a Frank Welker, or anybody like that can do multiple voices. You know what I mean? Tom Kenny's another one. He does multiple voices. Carlos Ellis Rocky is the same way too. You only want to make sure they only do 2 voices per episode, because anything outside that is like, damn, I got to put that part of the budget.
What was amazing about the Aladdin TV show, and I think we talked about that when we talked about the Aladdin movie, is like how it tied into all 3 movies in a way and stuff. And they have this genie that was basically the I win button and stuff. And it was just the whole movie was just. Huh?
You ain't lying, man. No, Chris, you're not lying about that, because at any time, a lot of times, all they could have said was, "Hey, Genie, kill him. You got it."
Because you forget the fact that Aladdin wished the genie free, and the premise of the show is that Genie came back and just hangs out with Aladdin and them.
Well, he didn't just come back in the TV show. He pretty much came back in the second movie.
I know that.
Still had the slave shackles to his wrists. So it's like, what's the
point
of wishing him?
What's that?
What's the point of wishing him free? How couldn't it just stick to the script?
He was still free. He was still free. It's just continuity is a motherfucker, because we got to keep the shackles is an accessory now.
All right, fine, Disney. Either way for a either way for a TV show, that animation budget was lazy.
That was bad. You know why I hated it so much? Because they had to make the palace guards, even though the palace guards technically work for Jasmine. You know what? I don't give a shit.
Find a reason.
But I always see that street rats. Like, hey Jim, how you doing? You're late to be on Bonkers, by the way.
Speaking of Bonkers, that's a good segue. So Bonkers gave us 2 seasons with really weird sidekicks. Bonkers was always the main he was always the main character, but he had a detective who, let's just be real, he was always 2 days to retirement in every episode because he was so sick.
Oh, you mean not John Candy, basically?
Yes, not John Candy. We had not John Candy, who was the sidekick to Bonkers. But then after season 1 was done, he gets partnered up with what's her name? God, I was gonna say, what?
He got hooked. Didn't him and the blonde girl?
I was gonna say the blonde. No, I was gonna say the blonde chick, aka the female, aka Lois from RoboCop.
Basically.
Thank you.
Because that's all she was.
Sorry.
It's like, that's who she was. We got Lois from RoboCop.
Lois. But
But that was it. But it was an interesting show. I always dug the theme song for Bonkers, and in fact, I love the cartoon itself.
That just felt like another check.
Hey.
That felt like another check for fucking damn Frank and Jim anyway. So it was like, all right, cool.
Oh, it was because let's be real. Nobody mentions that cartoon.
I feel Frank goaded Jim to pitch that shit to Disney on a bet. And somehow Frank lost that bet. Like, son of a bitch, they did greenlit this shit.
Like they greenlit it for 2 seasons.
Like, seriously, I really felt they were just drinking one night. It was like, Jim, bet you Disney is going to greenlit that fucking show. Hold my beer.
Hold my beer.
You know what? It makes me feel also that
actually, my god, wait, I take that back. Holy crap!
4 seasons.
Sorry, yeah, 4 seasons plus compilation. 4 seasons plus compilation.
Here's the weird part about that. All right, so this is where I have to interject in this, right? I feel it's cheating to call it 4 seasons because you could really combine the first 2 seasons. Like the first season, I think had 10 episodes, if I remember correctly. The second season had 20 episodes. So it's like that's a cheating.
And you're right.
That's cheating. And
you're right. No, CJ, and you're right because the show was quite literally on the air for 1 year.
That's what I'm saying. It's like you look at all the episode count. I'm like, that's literally just one season, really. I mean, even in anime term. Well, no, if you go in anime terms, technically it's 2 seasons because anime has 21st, 25, and then the next. Yeah, so yeah.
But anime has a different standard when it comes to how they structure their seasons. Because you got to remember,
first 25 is the first season, and the second 25.
Yeah, that's how it is for some shows. Yeah. For some shows, the first 25 episodes is one season. But however, you got one show where the first 50 episodes was season 1.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, no, yeah, because Batman Beyond did that shit. Where it was like the first season was like 20 episodes. The second season was like 40-something episodes. I'm like, what the fuck? And then the third season was like 15. I'm like, well, that's weird.
And you gotta remember the shows that went through the writer strike.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, it happens that way. It go. The only thing I could add to Bonkers was when I was a kid, because he did that voice so well. I thought the dude, Bonkers partner. I thought that's how Jim Cummings looked like in real life. I was convinced that he looked exactly like that. And also the other thing I gotta say about Bonkers, I always felt that Bonkers, looking back on it, there had to be like one ex-writer of WB that wanted to pitch Freakazoid, but they said it was stupid, and the second he left, they was like, hey, now Freakazoid, I'm going to Disney, and I'm going to make something equally as not that memorable as yours.
Which I still find...
Jokes on him. More people like Freakazoid than fucking Bonkers.
Let's be real. More people remember Freakazoid than Bonkers.
Freaking you. Hey, Harris, freaking you, freaking me.
Like, no, you got that backwards, D. It's freaking me, freaking you.
He's here to save the nation.
Stamp the nation.
He's back to the station. Fat dude and blubber boy. Sorry.
Nah, my joke, real talk, was Freakazoid chimpanzee.
Side note, are we ever going to talk about that show, man? We got to.
I got to be honest with you. Much like Disney Afternoon, what happened come in the package, bro, because look, I don't like that show outside the theme song.
I love the show because it's so fucking random.
I feel so bad because I know a lot of people that like it, and they approach me like, D, why don't you like Freakazoid? I really didn't like it as a kid. I'm grown, and it still don't make me laugh as a grown up, man.
Oh boy, I can already see D right now. We gotta put it in a package show with this, the Tick, and Tasmania.
Spoon.
Don't you dare, because I fucking hate the Tick.
Hey, look! I love Tasmania just because the irony. Tasmania was the shit because the irony of what the show was about is like it's supposed to be about Taz, but the goddamn supporting cast is just fucking hilarious.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That was a mistake on my end. I should have said I should have said Freakazoid, the Tick, and Eek the Cat.
Oh man, Eek the Cat was my shit. Even though it was dumb, Eek the Cat was my shit. But
hey, I love that show. I love that show. First of all, I love the show for the incredible Thunder Lizards, the terrible Thunder Lizards.
I hate you, nigga. I was about to say, did you really want to know the show that actually slapped? It was Incredible Dunder Lizards, nigga.
Bro,
God.
that theme song fucking
The
slapped.
theme song was that was the hotness. That was the truth. Here comes Sack Squad and Cutter.
Bro, you know what? But you know what though?
Oh,
But we also have to admit, Eat the Cat love BBWs apparently. So hey, shout out to him. Shout out to him.
And real
Man,
talk, hold on. If you ever wanted to go, and if you ever wanted to go on a true, acid trip, just listen to the Eat the Cat theme song.
Hey Chris, you know, see, God, boo me after this, Harris, please. You know, Eek was beating up all of that pink pussy. Boo me, Harris.
Boo. D, go in the corner.
Jokes like that. Thank you. I will gladly go into a corner.
Now here's the thing.
Now.
So, you know what was funny is that another Disney afternoon show that low key like blew up for Disney, Timon and Pumbaa.
Timon and Pumbaa to me wasn't that successful though. I watched every episode of that bitch. I loved
That
it.
shit almost got close to 100 episodes.
You get the fuck out of here!
Dead serious.
I watched.
Almost.
Yo, that was my show though, man. I felt, but I always feel when people like, you know, reminisce and we talk about nostalgia. Of course, we're all going to fall in the most popular, but I never hear nobody talk about Timon and Pumbaa. I love that show, man.
I mean, it was just. It was just.
Hey, I don't know about y'all, but this is how it was for me because I had to wake up early to go to private school. For me, oh God, you did too. It was like 6 o'clock. It was some show. 6:30, Sailor Moon came on, and at 7, Timon and Pumbaa came on. Son, I forgot we all lived in the same goddamn area.
I was about to say, first of all, what we had, I had what was it, WB 54, and I remember every morning before going to middle school, I had, it was Sailor Moon, Garfield, Samurai Pizza Cats, and then I had to catch the bus.
That was good old UPN 20, sir.
That was UPN 20?
Eris was right.
50,
that was
WB.
That was WB
54. Yeah, WB 54. Yeah,
it was 54.
4. Now, Baltimore 45. I always try to catch their syndicated shit, but I never could catch it enough to know what the fuck came on.
Side note, I feel Baltimore 45 got the short end of the stick on cartoons. Like they got the leftovers sometimes.
All right, real talk, and this is sad coming from D, but as a young Dallas Cowboy fan, every time there was a game, it was always the Redskins around here. I could never see the Dallas, but the only way I could see Dallas was on Baltimore 45.
Because apparently Baltimore was like, fuck the Redskins, we'll play some Dallas games.
Baltimore, when we used to get the Baltimore station down here in D.C., the Ravens weren't a thing yet.
Yeah. So Dallas was.
That happened. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, but the crazy part about Timon and Pumbaa is the fact that, again, they brought back a lot of the people from the movies a little bit. They brought back Homeboy that voiced Pumbaa. Nathan Lane, they hired him for a handful of episodes before they switched off to Quint Flynn.
They had to. They couldn't keep it on.
But they can hire Robert Giuliani as Rafiki. They have money for that guy.
Hey, because
it worked.
Come on, man. He's the head nigga in charge. He get to do whatever he wanted.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, he wasn't doing shit anyway.
Second of all, he commands respect. The man commands respect with that staff.
But I like how like Jim Cummings is like the only hyena that came back from the movie because it was like, shit, we ain't hiring Whoopi Goldberg. Get the fuck out of here.
We can't hire Whoopi back. We can't
even hire Cheech. Fuck that shit. Get him out of here.
Now, before you make your fucking weed joke, you idiot, this is what happened. Hey, Cheech, can you come back and do Timon and Pumbaa cartoon? Oh, man, I saw that. I can't, man. Wow, what are you doing right now? I'm doing Nash Bridges, man. Yeah, it's going to be hot. Okay,
Don
whatever,
Johnson.
sir.
Don Johnson, baby.
Don Johnson, man. We're going to be cool, man. You're like this. Okay, Cheech, nobody cares about Don Johnson. I guarantee you that will only last one season for, 5 seasons later.
Syndication money, baby.
Did you see that episode of me? Did you see that? Hey, did you see that episode of me? I had a chance to work with Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Hey, be honest with you. Nash Bridges it's not high tier, but I'm glad it lasted a good minute. I'm glad it gave Don Johnson and Cheech something to do. I really am. I'm not even joking about that.
I'm laughing at the fact that that shit got crossed over with the other ones like fucking Martial Law and fucking Walker Texas Rangers. Remember that shit?
That's the wrong one. Like I said again, Chris, we have to find a way that three black geeks go through fucking Walker Texas Ranger anyway. But there is the episode with Martial Law was this. I love it. Fucking Sammo Hung and Chuck Norris are in a truck, and in the back of the truck is a fucking bomb that could blow up all of, I don't know, Houston or some shit. And they take it to the middle of the field. No, but here's the best part. They take it to the middle of the field, and I love Sammo Hung. Samuel at the time was so low energy, they had to use the slow motion effect to him hopping out of the truck.
Mm-hmm.
And him and Chuck Norris running away from a truck is the most hilarious thing, because Chuck, to give him his credit, he's acting. Sammo is doing this weird waddle.
I mean,
slow motion.
It's amazing to me that the Martial Law got the amount of episodes that it got and stuff, because it's like that. CBS was in a weird position before we get back to Disney, but CBS, I felt CBS was kind of a little like Fox. They were taking chances on all these movies. Like, all right, give Sammo Hung a own show. Okay, cool. Walker Texas Ranger, let's do this, and let's Touched by Angel. They had like a lot of hits for the middle-aged people.
They really did, man. They brought a lot of bangers. But anyway, let's wrap this bitch up.
But
man.
also, we got to talk about the god tier of cartoons, Gargoyles. We got to. It's just
AKA Disney's. Hold on, AKA Disney's Batman the Animated Series.
I mean, it was their. This is Greg Wiseman doing Greg Wiseman shit. AKA, we're gonna give you all this lore, and then we're gonna end on a cliffhanger.
Wait a minute, did they end the show on an actual cliffhanger?
Yeah, Greg Wiseman. So the last season of Gargoyles was them fighting the Gargoyle KKK and shit, and it never really got like a legit finale to it and stuff. You had to read the comics, the tie-in comics, to kind of get some sort of finality to it and stuff. But it was probably one of Disney's more ambitious shows and stuff. It was definitely so many tie-in, like they were going to the extent of Macbeth was a real person that had ties to Demona, and they were linked together psychically to where one feels pain of the other and stuff, and he was kind of like their main antagonist for different episodes and stuff. Demona was the chick that's like, these humans don't like us and shit, and then Puck was pretty much the Loki of the series and stuff, and he basically threw magic on her to where she basically turned human when it became daylight instead of stone gargoyles and stuff. A lot of ambitious stuff. King Arthur, just everything across the board. They went nuts, and basically it also starred majority of people from Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Yeah, I know Jonathan Frakes. Didn't he do Xanatos' voice?
And Jonathan Frakes, man, that guy. I think when you were the one that told me that he does a lot of shit behind closed doors, like directing and writing and a lot of shit. I was like, damn, I didn't even know that.
He's mainly producing now. The last thing I think he directed, I think he did either directed an episode of The Librarians, or it was like the last few episodes of God, what's the name of it?
Dorville?
What's the name of that?
The Orville. He did a couple episodes. He directed a couple episodes of The Orville, so.
Wait, for real?
Yep.
Cool. That is kind of cool. I wasn't even thinking about that. I was thinking about the other movie. God, I forgot the name of that shit. It was, I forgot, whatever. It was the one with fucking Aldous Hodge was on that motherfucker. God, anyway.
But the whole show, it was wild too and stuff, and they got everybody, and I was like, holy shit, I can't believe they got everybody for this show and stuff, and yeah, it definitely was. I mean, look, we got Keith David as like Goliath. I mean, come on, like
which works. I mean, which definitely works.
I mean, look. I in terms of voice acting, Keith David is up there with Kevin Conroy, man. That's a voice easily.
It really is, bro.
I mean, you hear him doing all the voices and stuff, and then the other side of it, when him and Michael Dorn are talking with each other, I was like, oh shit, this is like ear porn.
Because you know exactly how to say.
Basically, it was.
I am Weasel. I am Weasel. I am Weasel. I'm Spawn. You win.
It really was. I'm not even joking. You are right on that one. It's like, oh shit, Michael Dorn and Keith David talking. Yes, I didn't know I wanted.
That is black excellence in a hurricane right there. If you ask me.
I mean, dude. Michael Dorn was voicing this cyborg Cold Stone essentially, and Cold Stone really was like the blackest like gargoyle you'll find. Like he really was like not taking any shit from nobody. So. But yeah, that was definitely like very ambitious show, and like I said, Greg Wiseman, he builds these shows up with all this lore, and he never really has, like, when he structured these shows out, he never really structures it out with a legit ending, which kind of annoys a lot of people like me. I'm just like, God damn it, can we just structure an ending, man? Like, come on.
God damn it. Can you just like mess up?
I don't know, man. It's like Young Justice. It's like every time I watch, thankfully it's getting a 4th season, but he did the same shit with Young Justice. I'm like, dog, craft an ending, man. Come on, don't do this, but that's what he does. He leaves you on the edge of your seat and stuff, and this was one of like his probably one of the start of his magnum opuses of shows and stuff that he did, and but yeah, so you got Gargoyles, and I guess last but not least, Darkwing Duck. I mean, that show.
Well, I already mentioned.
We didn't really go into it. You just
I know we didn't. I wanted to go. That's why I was trying to segue into it. Was when I mentioned Gizmo Duck and how he was the Swiss Army knife on a unicycle.
I mean, Darkwing Duck was great. I didn't think I would ever like it, and I just latched onto that show. Like, I mean, just everything about it was great.
You talked about crossover earlier. I remember as a kid just going like, hey, wait a minute, when I saw Launchpad on that show. So
Launchpad literally turned into the Robin, like the Robin to Darkwing Duck unknowingly. It was like, what the fuck's Launchpad doing here? Like, all right.
Don't you do that.
First of all, look, everybody knows that. Everybody who's anyone knows that Launchpad was nothing more than an independent contractor pilot.
It really was.
About Launchpad, though. Here's the thing about Launchpad. There was a lot of lawsuits that Mr. Scrooge had to pay off.
Why do you think he left Duckburg and went to St. Canard?
True.
Oh, it became somebody. Harris, it then became somebody else's problem.
Exactly. He became someone else's problem. Notice that he didn't fly that much in Darkwing Duck.
Got a question for you guys. If you had to sit there and toss up who's the better pilot, Baloo or Launchpad?
Well, when Baloo can do sorry. Hold on, I'm about to answer. I'm answering that right. Hold on, let me answer this, D. When Baloo can do a barrel roll while throwing pineapples and getting slices in his enemy's eyes, gotta go with Baloo on that one.
Yeah, true.
With Launchpad, you have to fear for your life and pray to God that you at least get a decent landing.
And again, hey Chris, again, the lawsuits.
This is true. This is definitely true. I gotta admit and stuff. I think more than anything, the toss up with the big standout with Darkwing Duck for me, and Tim Curry, man. Tim Curry actually voiced in a lot of Disney afternoon cartoons as well.
And I always liked Goslin.
Yeah.
Voiced by Christine Cavanaugh. R.I.P. to her.
Yeah. Man. I think I really feel we have to see Tim Curry at some point.
Christine Cavanaugh did quite a few voices with Disney, man. She did quite a few, man. Yeah. I think she was on pretty much every show. I don't think she was on Rescue Man stuff. She probably did a bit or something like that.
I mean, same with Dan Castellaneta.
But I don't. But look,
yeah,
I had
Dan
to
was on that too.
I had to give respect points to her for Gosling because that's who I remember her as.
Yeah.
You know something I'm surprised by? As good as Darkwing Duck was as a show, how is it that DuckTales got a movie yet this show didn't?
You know, as a kid, I always wondered that.
I feel DuckTales got lucky that it got a movie. Or
that's the thing. It got a movie that nobody talked about.
Probably because it can't. But you also too, DuckTales. When DuckTales came out, it was during that point in time where, because you also remember too, and I guess maybe you can count it. Scrooge McDuck got like a Christmas Tale movie based off him. I mean,
that Christmas Carol. Wait,
Christmas Carol.
I was gonna say the Christmas Carol that came out way before.
That's what I'm saying. That was way before, man.
But I mean, the movie. I think that came out during that period of time where Disney was like, "Fuck it, give them a movie because we're doing other movies."
But I think where you go. But I get where you're going at. Where you're coming at with that, Chris. Because if I'm not mistaken, that movie was released. It was released under Walt Disney. No, it was released under Disney Classics, not the DuckTales movie, but the Christmas Carol. It got re-released again under the Disney Classics.
Ah, okay, yeah. I mean, and the crazy part was like the DuckTales movie. They was just like, all right, hire Christopher Lloyd. Okay.
And if I'm not mistaken, didn't that movie come out in theaters?
Yep, I saw it in theaters.
Yeah.
Saw that.
Again, why didn't Darkwing Duck get his own movie? I feel like. I mean,
look what time it came out, though. If you think about it.
Okay, Darkwing Duck came out in the early '90s. It was 91, 92.
Yeah, 92. But at that point, Disney is like, can we really make money from a Darkwing Duck movie at that point?
Give it a good story, it'll make us money.
I mean, that's really what it comes down to and stuff.
Basically, give it a good story. Keep it away from genies and lamps, and we'll be all right.
Yeah, I mean, a Darkwing Duck movie would be feasible now, but I think that's because we just have so many outlets for putting out material like that. So,
I mean, come on, you got a movie that gives us Launchpad and Gizmo Duck in it. Shoot, Gizmo Duck wasn't even in the DuckTales movie.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, that was before Gizmo Duck.
Yeah, it was before he showed up. Yeah. But once he shows up in Darkwing, I'm like, bro, make a Darkwing Duck movie and put Gizmo Duck in it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's crazy. You know what's funny too? I guess we can end it off with this. Did y'all play?
I was gonna say real quick, shout outs to my boys Negaduck, Steelbeak,
with the Not Legion of Doom.
the Not Legion of Doom, and the other one, the one that always dealt with the electricity. Oh God, what was his name?
Oh, it says fuck. Is it Megavolt?
Yeah,
Megavolt.
Megavolt.
Yeah.
Megavolt and my boy Bushroot.
Oddly thick roster of Rose Gallery got going on over here.
Now, here's the thing. I think we all can agree. We all played all the Capcom Disney Afternoon games.
They were fun.
I don't know about all of them. I didn't play none of it. I didn't play Darkwing Duck. I played Rescue Rangers. I played... I don't remember there being a Tailspin one.
Yeah.
They had a Tailspin.
Yeah, they had a Tailspin one that came out on NES. I played the Goof Troop one.
I didn't.
Yeah, I actually rented it from Blockbusters. Okay. When I got a Genesis, I actually used my allowance and bought the Gargoyles game. That was fun-ish and stuff, but yeah, you know.
Gotta be. I mean, look, let's keep it real. The Aladdin game was more fun on the Sega Genesis.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Playable. You mean it was playable?
Yeah, it was very much playable and stuff. I never touched any of those Bonkers games. I remember
I played the first one. Don't. It wasn't that good.
Oh, no. I remember GamePro magazine was like, yo, the game is garbage, basically, you know.
So. It really was.
Like the game is garbage.
Yeah. I played it on Game Boy and I played it on the Super Nintendo. It's garbage.
I actually, and I'm pretty sure y'all had the same thing too. I remember my aunt for Christmas gave me the DuckTales Tiger Electronic game.
Yikes. Let's just say I had a stack of Tiger Electronic games, and unfortunately, DuckTales was not one of them.
Kids, I just want to tell you something right now. Tiger Electronics is struggle video games.
Struggle video.
Imagine, if you will, you're on a road trip, Your parents didn't buy you a Game Boy yet, so your next best thing for entertainment in a car, 3.5 hours going to North Carolina, is a fucking Tiger Electronic game.
And pray to God that you have more than 2 batteries that are used to house it, because that thing went through batteries after a good 2 hours.
Man, let me tell you something, man. Tiger Electronics, woo.
Oh, and can I tell you something else? Though, CJ? Whenever you try to turn the game on and it won't turn on, even though you put 2 fresh batteries in, you have to get like a pin, a very, very thin pin to push. Yeah, you have to get a safety pin to push the reset button. And when you push the reset button, you see every image from that game.
Mm-hmm. Kids will never know the struggle of Tiger Electronic games. You don't. I'm gonna put that on my worst enemy.
And it looked like seriously, for those of y'all that play video games, especially if you play Smash Brothers, Mr. Game & Watch was a real thing. That's what the Tiger Electronic games were. They were Mr. Game & Watch.
Man, I just...
Look, you want to know something entertaining? My son, it was Donnie. With the last Mag Fest I went to, I forgot who had it, what booth had it, but they had Tiger games, and somebody picked, and you can pick it up and play it. I have never seen my son look so confused. And I just but here's the best part about it. I was equally confused.
I mean, like, it's just like, but it's just, if you guys remember those commercials for Tiger Electronics, they made it seem like it was the best thing since sliced bread.
That's what they do.
Man, that was a time. But shout outs to Capcom for remastering DuckTales, though. That was great.
Shout outs to the speedrunners that play it.
I know, right?
That game, did I even beat it? I remember beating the remake. I don't think I did. I had to. I did love the effort they put into the game with redoing the voices and all that. Mm. Some of the boards were a whole hell of a lot easier, and then some of them were like, it was never this damn hard. But they took time and they actually remade it. I thought it was excellent. I liked it.
I would like to also say Disney Interactive can eat all the fucking baby dicks because they made horrible fucking games. Horrible games. Dear God. I don't know what the fuck is up with Disney Interactive. It's like they are incapable of making video games. It's like, how? How was this a thing?
Because they already know where their best foot forward can go, and that's for just making movies. Like even if it's making the same movie over and over again, it's what they're best at. When it comes to video games, they're smart. Outsource it.
Yeah, they didn't get good until that fucking the Disney Infinity shit.
And even then, they got lucky with that.
Yeah, they really did. They got lucky, but I remember when they came out with that fucking first-person shooter Atlantis game. And they were really hyping that shit up like, come on, you can play first-person shooter Atlantis. You can have a team battle. And I'm like, this is like boring.
Again, who do they, like, again, I'm looking at Disney Interactive. Who are you trying to fool?
A movie that, by the way, Disney didn't get 2 fucks about, but you promote a fucking full-fledged video game for. Yeah, exactly.
That's just the way it is.
Ugh. Jesus. Anyways, we got any lasting thoughts about Disney Afternoon?
Disney Afternoon was fun. I'm definitely glad it was a part of my childhood. And is it something that could be replicated today? Absolutely not.
Well, they're trying to with the new DuckTales. They're trying.
They're trying. I
sold you on that Darkwing Duck backdoor plot, the palette that they did.
So. Oh, you did. But the thing, here's the problem. The problem of you trying to give me Disney Afternoon in this day and age is you got to give me original material. Back in the day, Disney Afternoon was all original material.
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
It doesn't feel the same. It doesn't feel the same to me when you're doing it with remakes and reboots.
Well, the DuckTales show isn't treading the same water, so to its credit.
But then again, all of them are. But then again, Chris, if that's the case, and I was getting at that, all of them are. because they take from Tailspin took from Jungle Book. Chippendales was a remake of whatever they did already.
Yeah.
And you can say that anyway, but here's the thing. I agree with Eris. Yeah, you can't replicate the environment of television. That's why this can't be done again. The environment of television has changed drastically. Now, can't you do these shows, remake them, or like try to make it their own? Sure, you can try. Because again, I think the DuckTales one is not that bad. I don't like it, but hey, guess what? It's actually not that damn bad.
Yeah.
Can you remake Goof Troop? I don't know. You get a good writer. It's possible. I don't think you can redo none. Yeah, you can't redo none of these to the way of us millennials liking them the way we used to, because you're not. You're not. There are people that look, because remember, Chris, you and me were the people that loved Wolverine the X-Men, and then we got people telling us to our face, no man, the 95 one was way better. Like, yo nigga, shut up.
And look, I like the 95 one, but I'm sitting back like, hey dog, that last season though.
That last season was trash though. But but still, you're not going to, come on, dude, I'm a wrestling fan. I got to deal with this all the time. The Attitude Era is not coming back. So don't tell me to replicate what cannot be replicated again.
Yeah.
That means it has to be everything. Like I said, the environment of television, where Disney was at with his animation and as a company, all of that can't be replicated. So it's foolish to think you can capture the same magic. And also, here's a good example. DuckTales is not trying to get me to be a fan. They're trying to get my kids to be a fan. I'm not a part of the demographic anymore.
Yeah.
That's the one thing a lot of millennials have a problem with that.
I mean, let's be real.
Why is Ninja Turtle so different? Because you're not 6.
Yeah, I mean, but also too, it's like there are certain shows on Disney Afternoon that I don't think Disney's gonna waste time to remake. Like nobody's fucking asking for the Adventures of Gummy Bears again. Fuck no.
Nobody. But here's the thing about it. The flip side of that, I think a lot of us would like to see some type of mulligan, if you will, for Gargoyles. But then again, I don't think you can recapture that.
They would have to go through Greg Wiseman, because I'm pretty sure Greg wants to get into that shit. So
exactly. Yeah. So again, like I said, yes, you can try.
I mean, yeah.
You are open to it, and hey, man, if you can do it, do it. But real talk, don't be trying to look. Don't make fetch happen. Don't do it just because you in your late 30s and you missed something.
Yeah.
No, make it because it comes from your heart. Make it because you think the kids of this generation can like it. Something they can attach to. Something that they can fawn over 20 years from now. Like, yo, I used to love that show. Don't make it for you. Make it for them. Yeah. That's really where it comes from, man. So, yeah I'm with Ferris. No, you can't.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm saying, like I said, leave it in the past. It was, we had our fun. Make these shows for kids of today. Let them enjoy it. Cool, great. But don't try to replicate what was hot back then.
Nah, you can't.
Yeah, like real talk. That's even though crap like that don't faze me. Like, oh, they're remaking it. It's not for me. They're remaking this. It's not for me. But then again, hey, they're bringing out a new Ed, and Eddie. Are all the writers there that used to be there? No. What the fuck is their problem?
I mean, look, I mean,
destroyed my childhood.
I mean, at the end of the day, it just comes down to like it'd be like when they did the Powerpuff Girls again and stuff, and some people were like, "Yeah, it's okay, it's." It is what it is.
It's kind of funny. The Powerpuff Girls, I think that's a good example. Because I watched it with my kids, and I seen how they attached to it. They rather watch the old one. But again, they're boys. The new Powerpuff Girls was more silver girl. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it doesn't have the same flow. It doesn't have the same humor. All it really came off of was like a Rebecca Sugar brain fart. That's really what it came off of. Like you were trying too hard to be that show. Oh, it's for girls. It's doing this and doing that. No, it didn't get that fanfare. You made a boring show. So whatever. But anyway, that's it. Everybody, thank y'all for again listening to us as usual. This was a decent little summer. I still think we could have done more, but hey, whatever. We got what we got for this one. Now, next month we're doing.
Andy's been roboticized.
Bad movies. Hello.
Yeah, you cut out.
You've been roboticized, D.
Am I still roboticized?
You're sort of good unless you're going off Wi-Fi and you're like far away from it or something.
Oh shit, for real?
Okay, you're good now.
Alright, whatever. Anyway, next month, like I said, we're doing bad movies. They're bad movies. We're doing Chris's favorite bad movie of all time, Cutthroat Island. We're doing Eris's favorite band, Bushwhack, and we're doing two of them. But Bushwhack has been on our tour way too long, and we finally have to do something. Oh yeah, and the other two movies that we're doing is the opus, if you will. Me and Chris's. I swear, me and Chris, a part of us wrote this movie, Chill Factor.
Yes.
Starring the great Skeet
Skeet Ulrich and Cuba Gooding Jr.
Cuba Gooding Jr. I swear again.
It's Speed with the bomb.
When I make these, speaking of which, Chris, there was a joke that you said when we did Twister, and it's a joke that makes me laugh. Like, come on, guys, you remember when Speed, buses, I'm like, what the fuck? So yeah, we're going, but yeah, Chill Factor, and the other movie that I swear, I feel like it's going to torture Eris, and that's the reason why I did it. Jamie Foxx's Held Up.
Well, actually, I'm the one who First of all, I'm the one that requested that.
See, that will torture me just because, one, that was a movie that I just remember very much succinctly not liking because Jamie Foxx was fucking annoying in that damn movie.
No, it wasn't that he was annoying. And the sad part about that is it wasn't his fault that he was annoying because, and the reason why, I'm going to give you the reason why it wasn't his fault. The reason why it wasn't his fault that he was annoying is because the movie forced him to carry it by himself.
Of course.
And at that time, and you could argue still now, Jamie couldn't carry it.
Yeah, because at the same time, he had the Jamie Foxx show, and he had people to bounce off of, and he didn't have nobody to bounce off in that movie.
Yeah, man. That shows you a flaw, doesn't it? But whatever. Anyway, that's it. Everybody, all right, that's it. We're done.
Yeah, we're done. Peace.